So, I created a few, I don't know if you call these animations, they're not moving, but, well, designs to show y'all what happened Sunday afternoon at Robbie's. Y'all know we've had a history of these things beating on the windows at Robbie's. That's the main occurrence that happens out there, and this is the first time I've seen it with my own two eyes, because my window was actually open. I was laying on my bed shopping on the telephone, and something beat on the window, and I looked up thinking it was going to be Robbie trying to scare me, and what I saw was not Robbie. It was some kind of creature, small, hairy. I couldn't really make out its face too good, but it was not human at all. It was still daylight outside. It really freaked me out afterwards thinking about it because we have neighbors across the road. It's a long ways to the wood line at Robbie's house. So whatever was beating on the window had really put itself at risk of being seen. And that makes me think they're getting really bold. It makes me afraid of what might happen next. And y'all might think it's silly for me to have gotten so scared over a little creature like this. But, I mean, you got to remember, this is something that is not supposed to exist. And even though I know they exist, I'm sorry, y'all, I got cut off. I had to start over. So what I was saying was, y'all have to remember that this is something that is not supposed to exist. And just put yourself on my shoes. I don't think, no matter how many times you see one of these things, you never get used to it. And and every time you see one, as time goes on, you'll gradually start to convince yourself that you might be crazy, that you might have imagined it, that it could have been something else. It just becomes more and more unreal. And I don't know why that is, but that's just how it works. That's what's happened to me. And I know that's got to be what happens to everybody else. So this is what happened. I was laying in my bed, shopping on the phone, looking for Christmas presents for the dogs. And something banged on my window very hard and aggressively. And I looked up, thinking it was going to be Robbie. And this is what was standing there instead. I did my best to recreate what I saw. As you can see, it's not even halfway up the window. And I definitely remember its arms being skinny and like thin hair on them. And it was right before dark, so most of what I saw was just all dark silhouette. I could make out a little bit of features, and like I said, I did my best to recreate it, but you're basically seeing what I saw. And then the next clip is me jumping out the bed. Oh yeah, I forgot. I screamed to the top of my lungs, and I think I scared the shit out of it. I'm thinking that it probably thought the glass was in the window, because the glass has always been in the window when it beat on the window before, and it went to knock on it hard. I don't know if it saw me sitting there and it watched me for a while. I don't know. I hope not. God, I hope it wasn't sitting there watching me. But I was so in my phone, it could have been, and I didn't notice it till it said. I mean, it was just like bam, 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 bam. And I looked up thinking it was about to be Robbie, and can you imagine my surprise when I saw this thing? I jumped 10 foot in the air and tried to keep my back to the doorway and my face facing the window, because I did not want to turn my back on this thing in case it was coming through the window. But it didn't. It turned to its, let me see, every time I say directions in videos, I say the wrong direction. So it turned to its left. Its right arm was back behind it in a running motion already. And I saw it at an angle from the back side, the back right side, as it bolted. And I'll show you here just in a second what the yard looks like and where it went. But I hope these drawings, or not drawings, but recreations, give y'all kind of an idea of what happened. The neighbor's dogs are barking at something. But, okay. I'm just trying to look like I'm doing something else besides looking in the woods at these things. So they'll think I'm trying to watch the dogs or something, but let's look around here in the flower bed and stuff for any tracks. See that right there? Looks like a possible track to me. Right there. That is a track. That definitely is a track. It even has toes in it. Can y'all see that? Y'all can see that. And you see what I mean when I say it's smaller than my foot? It looks like it might be. Yeah, it's smaller than my foot. Okay. Because there's my foot next to it. So, it's wider than my foot, but I don't know. So it's not well defined, but I could see toe definition in it. And then everything else is rock flower beds, but this is how the flower beds on the front of the house look. Okay, that's down here at this end. There's no dirt, it's all grass. And then there's the flower beds. And my room is that last window down there. And right here, along here, I got 2 good prints on camera last year. Not last year, about 6 months ago or so. Is when I got growled at, and I checked out here the next day and I found those prints. And sorry y'all, why did it go dark like that? My screen went dark for some reason. Still recorded. This part's gonna sound different because I'm recording it as a voiceover, but this is where I saw the thing outside my window. My window was open at the time, but there's a screen in it. And the thing was a little bit lower than the middle part of the window. The head of my bed is down there where I just pointed the camera. And the foot of my bed is right here about 6 inches into the window frame. So I was laying in bed and this thing just bams on the window like crazy hard. And I'm just thinking it's going to be Robbie. And I look up and it's not Robbie. It's something with brownish black hair, but it was thin. I could see its skin through there. And it didn't make no kind of growls or nothing like that. When I saw it, I just screamed bloody murder and jumped out of the bed to the doorway and had my I faced the window the whole time because I was afraid it was going to try to come through the window. I started screaming for Robbie, and this thing ran off. And what I saw when it ran off was the motion of it, like if it was facing the window squarely. I seen the motion of its body turning sideways, and that right arm that it was beating with back behind it as it took off running. And then it went this way and was gone. But the thing that I saw in the window, I might as well just call it a Bigfoot. A little Bigfoot. It was about the size of a 10, 11-year-old boy. It wasn't, it wasn't real hairy. It had thin hair on it. I couldn't make out a whole lot of details, but I could definitely make out it was not human. It was not a large creature. It wasn't way up there. It was halfway up this window, and it had a skinny arm, but it was hairy, and it was like a darkish grayish brown color. And I mean, I'm thinking it probably didn't know that the glass wasn't in there, and it went a well on that window, and it was nothing but screen. But I don't know. I was just so into my phone, it could have been standing there looking at me for an hour, and I didn't see it. But see, there's the neighbor's house right there, and it was not dark yet. And then there's they got horses. There's another neighbor down there, and there's the wood line. And then there's the wood lines back there.